Hey guys, just want to show you a very quick tutorial on some of the tips I have for when you're doing commercial photography. If you're maybe taking, say for instance in this case, been photographing a interior showroom. And basically we've kind of captured this, a bit of an off-center kind of shot. The reason for that was the original shot had a couple of things in the foreground that were kind of getting in the way, so we cropped it in, stuck the sofa or couch off center and then did a bit of work on it. The first thing I want to show you to do, basically I'm going to show you how to take a shot from this. This is the original image, very quickly in maybe 2-3 steps to this. Now straight away you might not see a lot of difference, but actually there's quite a lot of difference in the sharpness. You'll notice this little cable running down from where the light was. You notice in the updated version it's gone. Now this is a pretty quick fix kind of way to get rid of that, but I'll show you how to do it nonetheless, because it's very quick and painless, and it works. Nobody would ever notice, apart from potentially a professional photographer. So we take it back to the original. What we're going to do is we're going to unlock, or actually we're going to just copy the background layer. So if you drag the background layer down to the little copy box and let go, that will recreate the layer. The first thing I noticed of this image is there's a bit of lens distortion. You'll notice at the bottom of the photo here, there's a little gap that has appeared here. And the other thing to notice is that the angle of some of the wallpaper is slightly off, which may be to do with the lens or could be to do with the room. I'm not sure, but you'll notice in the updated version I've straightened it up a bit. So the way to do it is, if you have the layer selected, you can go into filter and lens correction if you like, and what that will do is, it's probably more useful on a larger kind of photo where you've got an entire room, because through the lens correction tool you can take out that kind of bowing effect that some lenses, even professional lenses, kind of have that. You can kind of straighten out lines and things like that. In this particular image we don't really need to straighten out anything as such, we just need to kind of reposition the perspective of the shot. So the quickest way to do that is if you go over to the left hand little palette here and just select the move tool, just click it, and then it brings up a selection around the image like so. My prime concern is going to be framing the image so it looks sharp and good and nobody notices anything that's a bit off about it. So the first thing I'm going to focus on is trying to get this little bottom line of the sofa to line up exactly with the bottom of the image. So the way I do that, and as well to fix these little glitches where the lines in the wallpaper are running slightly diagonally, is I'm going to go to the diagonal of the image. You see here this little diagonal cursor comes up. I'm going to click to select the image. I'm going to hold down the command button, and that allows me then to basically arbitrarily control the movement of the image. So I can drag it out and round, as you can see here. Basically where we start from is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it diagonally down to the right, just to get the bottom of the sofa to line up with the bottom of the image. Now while holding the command button, if you also hold the control button, it'll allow you much more control over smooth changes in the perspective. So once you're about happy with it, let's see, we'll go for that. You just let go of all the buttons, hit the return button, and you can see the difference there. If we go back and forward, that's straightened that out. Now there's still these diagonal lines in the wallpaper behind. What I'm going to do, just for the interest of showing you how to do it, is copy the layer again, and then I'm going to click again on the diagonal and hold the command and control button, and then I'm just going to literally pull the image out to the right, just straight to the right, and you'll start to notice the lines, the diagonal lines in the wallpaper straightening out a bit, like so. And you'll see we haven't lost any of the straightness of the sofa, but it's about getting a balance, because if I do it too far to the right, then the sofa starts looking weird and the other lines of the wallpaper distort. So the key here is to get just right so that nobody notices anything untoward. So say about here is about right, because the wallpaper is generally straight, and then the sofa or couch is straight as well. So hit return to allow that change to take place, and you'll notice everything's pretty straight. A couple of things there, of course. Now we've created this kind of diagonal line on the left hand side. Same thing, go over to the left hand side, just select the diagonal, the bottom corner of the image, just to kind of straighten these out. Just want to get these 100% right, so nobody will notice anything. I think that's maybe about right. You notice as well we haven't lost this little dividing line at the bottom of the image, which I thought was pretty important. If you do lose it, the image is still there, so if you just select the layer, you could actually just drag it up, and you can see there the bottom of the sofa, like so. Oh, let's go back. So I think we'll probably leave it about here. Okay, hit the return button. Now, next thing is this cable running down. It kind of distracts your view from what the sort of important things of the image, which is basically the couch or the sofa there. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom way in. You'll notice I haven't sharpened this image at all yet, so we're going to do that last probably. But you see that cable running down the wall. Now if I select the last layer that we were playing about with there, the easiest and quickest way to get rid of this is actually a kind of amalgamation of two different tools. The way I do it is I go to the patch tool, which you'll see up here, and just select that. Now, you don't want to get, when you do this selection that we're about to make, you don't want to get the patch too close to the sofa or to this little steel bar that's coming down, because if you do so, what the tool will do when you let go is it'll create like a blur, a smudgy sort of effect, which you don't want, which I'll show you just here. Say we cut it very close to that and let go. The way the patch tool works is you make a selection and then you click the selection and drag to an area that you want to copy, and then let go. That does it like so. I've actually sort of got away with that a wee bit, but you'll notice probably more around the sofa. If I do a selection here, you notice this smudge kind of effect. You see that just here? Looks pretty messy. So the key to this is not to get too close to the edges, but to make most of the changes using this patch tool, because it's so quick and effective. So say we just come out here slightly from this metal bar, we'll draw around the selection of the cable, and literally just using the mouse, just drag our way around the cable, again not too close to the edge of the sofa, and back up until we get back to where we started, and then we let go, and that makes the selection like you can see. Then you click somewhere on top of the selection here and just drag it to an area. You can see here it's kind of showing you all the different areas as you drag it around the image, but what you need to do is you want to copy an area that's close by and is unblemished. So something like this should work pretty well. Once we let go, that will copy, it kind of filters over your selection, and you'll see pretty seamlessly that gets rid of the cable. Now, as we were saying, we've got this little cable here and cable here. What we do there is, to get rid of these, we go zoom way in, and now I use the clone tool, which is just below the patch tool. But if you select that and come over to where we want to be, drop the size down, because we need to be quite specific with this, but we want to use quite a soft brush like so. I've got it at the minute at 25 pixels. I'll maybe even drop it further down, so we're at 15 pixels. Opacity 100, flow 100. You could play around with those. You can maybe drop the opacity down slightly if you want to maybe do it a bit more subtly. But what we do is we go to an area that we want to copy. So say, the way I normally do it is, if there's a line like this, I normally just go parallel with that. Make a selection, keep it quite not too close to where your line is, because when you start copying over, then you'll just get it repeating. but some are similar, say about here. Then we hold down the Alt button, and this will create a little target icon, like so. Then you click, which selects your area that you want to copy, and then let go of everything, and then you can just go over to the cable and just start to brush over it, like so. You see, that's a pretty good variation. So if you go back and forward, you can see that now. And then we can go down. I'll just go through this one pretty quickly and make the selection pretty close to the cable. Again, don't want to get too close to the skirting down here because it will create that smudge effect. Let me drag up, and then let it select, and then go over to an area that's similar and let go. That creates that. And then we'll go to the clone effect and go to a parallel area, hit the Alt button, select by clicking, and then just start to paint over that. Again, by using the soft brush, it just gives you a more subtle control over it. If you go to the hard brush, you'll see what happens if I maybe clone an area here. You know, you kind of get that hard edge, you know, which is fine in some instances if you want to do certain things, but for this type of thing, I think it's always better to use a softer brush. So we'll go down here. It becomes quite tricky when you get near the little parallel edges like this, but it's pretty simple. Once you get the hang of it, you'll learn. There you go, that's pretty... Oh, I forgot to change the brush, that's why. Go back to the soft brush. Alt, select, and then just go over it. That's a pretty good selection. Then we'll do the where it meets the skirting, which is a pretty tricky kind of area. Again, select it with the patch tool, drag down, not too close to the edges because we don't want that smudge effect. Let go, and then just drag. We're going to drag just directly to the left because the hope is that it will create these little shadowed areas in the detail of the skirting. So there you go. You'll see here it's created this nasty kind of greeny smudge down here. So you can maybe just go over that. Just copy again, that's much better. Then we'll go back to our clone tool. We'll go parallel to where the copied area, or sorry, the area that we want to copy over. Alt, click, and then just drag over. You see that starting to recopy the edge of the cable, which is why I was saying we need to maybe go back a wee bit from the cable. Like so. Okay, and down the bottom, we'll make the brush slightly bigger. Alt, select, and do the same thing there. Now I won't go over the whole thing. You can do exactly the same effect on the ground, but you can see the difference we've made there just by changing the perspective of the image and then removing that cable. So what I want to do now is basically sharpen up everything. It's not the best shot, and there's a few wee bits on the actual sofa itself. See this little white speck here that's quite noticeable. So we'll maybe just drag over that with the patch tool, get rid of that. It's not the sharpest photo, so I normally go to filter, sharpen and unsharp mask. Click that. You notice everything sort of brightens up there. And if you want to really sharpen it, it becomes ridiculous looking when you go up like this. You can't really make out the details, it's so fussy. Normally if you're at a radius of around 1.2 to 1.8 pixels, that's normally a good, or I find it's a good balance. And then maybe go up, depending on the image as well. Sometimes you can get away with less, sometimes it's better to do more, you need more. Say about 85% there, 83, 85. Once you're happy, click OK. That will just show you, if you go back, you can't actually see much of a difference there. You maybe see a slight brightening around the beads on the cushion here when I go back and then forward, like so. Thereabouts. To be honest, with this type of image, there's a couple of little tricks I like to use. Now, in the past I would have played around with this image and used the dodge and burn tools, and bring out some of the highlights here in the cushions and things, bring out the blues here. What I've discovered is this really cool little app. It's available on the Mac. I'm not sure about PC, but it just gets you to where you want to go a little bit quicker. Once you've done the kind of the hard work on an image, like painting over cables that are lying over the place and repositioning the perspective, this little app here, Camera Bag, is a really good app. Basically lays out, I'm going to open it now just to show you, but it basically gives you a fantastic array of filters and tools that Photoshop has, some of, but not all of. But the filters are where I really enjoy this particular app, because it saves so much time and it looks fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this, just save it for web and devices just to make it quick. I'm going to save this image to my desktop here. Actually, I'll just keep it at fairly high resolution. I'm going to go into Camera Bag, this app. I mean, there's other apps out there that you can try. I just really like this one. It worked really well for me on a couple of shoots. But if you go to load image, it'll basically take you to your desktop or whatever you want to load from. What was it called? Sofa, wasn't it? So if we go down, there. Okay, we're just going to load this up. I'm just going to very quickly, I'm not going to go through a load of the filters. I'm just going to show you how it works and the difference that by using a few different filters you can make to the shot. So we go into styles, that's where all the filters are. You can see as I scroll over, the little effect changes, this little kind of preview box. If you want to do it, quite a cool way to do it, you can actually layer up these different effects, or you can just go into quick look like so, and it will show you all the ones that are available. So say for instance you want kind of quite a modern, bright look, maybe sort of oversaturated even. You can see this one here, Lolo, is quite good. I'm probably going to go for wedding down here, which is a bit more realistic. So if we select that, that will put the filter on, you see down here, and then you can actually, if you hover over the wedding thing, then you can kind of change the amount that the filter affects the image. You can also add images over that. Say for instance we want this kind of let's see, there's one I really like. Helga's quite a good one. Italiano, sort of old-fashioned kind of almost like a 1920s type feel. If you want to just have that filter, you just click here. If you want to add it over the existing filter, you just click the little add button and it filters it over, and then again you can change the amount that it goes over the image. But I just want to show you that because I love this type of effect here. That's a wee bit bright, mind you. So what I'll do is just take out the wedding shot. But you'll see that's quite a cool effect. And because we've straightened out the perspective of the thing, and we've sharpened it up, and we've done all the kind of groundwork in Photoshop, you kind of feel like you're justified in maybe taking a few shortcuts later on by using these filters. But they're pretty cool. There's other options out there, but it's kind of like that Instagram type thing where you can throw on filters and then change the effects. You can also go in and change brightness and shadows and so on. But anyway, hopefully that gives you guys a good idea of just a couple of little tips in terms of commercial photography. This is where we came from, and that's pretty much where we ended up. So hopefully that's of help. If you have any queries, let me know, and hopefully I haven't rushed through it too quickly. But good luck with trying out those different effects. Let me know if you have any issues you want me to help you out with. Cheers!